Humanity had once thrived among the stars, colonies shining bright across countless systems. Trade, technology, and culture flourished. But the alien alliance that ruled the core worlds looked down on humans with contempt. "They are reckless, weak, and unworthy," Commander Vrax had said, eyes cold as he signed the edict. "They will learn their place." Across the galaxy, human diplomats pleaded, warned, and negotiated. But the aliens would not listen, their pride and arrogance blinding them. And so, humanity was declared exiled, banished from the richest systems. Stripped of their fleets and resources, entire colonies were abandoned, starports sealed, and human settlers forced to flee into the uncharted darkness of space. Ships crowded with civilians, refugees, and damaged vessels raced through unclaimed sectors. Engines straining, shields barely holding. Admiral Kane stood on the bridge of the Resolute, gaze fixed on the distant stars. Calm but determined, he watched families huddle. Children frightened, pilots tense, and whispered softly, "We may be exiled, but we are not broken. We will survive. We will rise." Lieutenant Morris adjusted the sensors. "Admiral, most core routes are blocked. Patrols everywhere if we are caught." "We are finished," Kane nodded. "Then we find new paths. Hidden worlds, abandoned stations, and places they will never expect. Humanity always finds a way." The fleet moved like shadows through the void, avoiding known trade lanes, weaving between asteroids and nebulae. Every encounter with alien patrols became a test. Every skirmish a reminder of what humans were up against. A small scouting vessel barely escaped a cruiser's attack, but returned with vital intelligence, mapping gaps in patrol routes and unclaimed sectors. In hidden pockets of space, humans found remnants of old colonies, derelict ships, and abandoned stations. Engineers and scientists quickly began repairs, salvaging technology, restoring power, and constructing new facilities. The morale of the fleet lifted as hope returned. Small victories proving that exile was not the end, but a challenge. Kane addressed his crews on the bridge of the flagship, voice carrying across the comms. "Calm but strong. Remember this, all of you. They wanted to banish us, to erase humanity from the stars. But we are still here, we are still human, and we will thrive." His words echoed across the fleet, inspiring pilots, engineers, and civilians alike, courage replacing fear, determination replacing despair. Even the youngest cadets understood their role, carrying supplies, manning consoles, and learning the ways of survival and strategy. Every day was a test of endurance. Every night a battle against uncertainty, but humanity endured, proving that spirit mattered more than size or strength. Across the void, distant systems watched silently, unclaimed and waiting. Places that could become new homes, new strongholds, new foundations for a future empire. Kane smiled faintly. "Let them think we are finished. Let them believe their exile has succeeded, but they will see. We will rise stronger than ever." And as the stars stretched endlessly before them, the human fleet moved forward. Exiled but defiant, wounded but unbroken. The galaxy may have tried to erase them, but humanity was already planting the seeds of an empire that would one day surpass even the mightiest alliance. In the shadows of space, hope burned bright, quiet, unyielding. A spark that no alien power could extinguish, and somewhere, deep in the hearts of every human aboard the fleet, a single truth rang clear: humanity was not defeated. Humanity would not bow, and humanity would return. Stronger than ever, far from the core worlds, humanity began its slow, quiet rebirth on hidden planets and abandoned stations. Engineers, scientists, and pilots worked tirelessly, rebuilding ships, repairing engines, and forging weapons stronger than those taken by the alien alliance. Admiral Kane walked through a massive hangar, observing the crews, his eyes sharp but calm. Every ship we build, every crew we train, brings us closer to showing them their mistake, he said quietly. His voice steady, inspiring, Lieutenant Morris moved among engineers. Checking schematics and systems, Admiral. The new cruisers are ready. Shields stronger than anything they expected. Weapons upgraded. Kane nodded. Good, we will not fight blindly. We will strike with intelligence, strategy, and courage. They will regret ever banishing us. Small frigates and corvettes darted around construction yards. Engines humming, weapon systems tested and calibrated. Even civilians played their part, carrying supplies, monitoring communications, learning the ways of survival, teamwork, and courage in the depths of a nebula. The first human dreadnoughts took shape, massive vessels bristling with weaponry, shields glowing with energy, engines primed for long jumps across the void. Every new ship carried with it a story of determination. A symbol of humanity's refusal to bow, the alien alliance remained unaware, confident that exiled humans were scattered and broken. But humanity moved quietly, carefully, preparing for the moment to reveal its true strength. Kane gathered his officers in the central command room, holographic maps glowing around them. The fleet we build is more than ships, he said. Voice calm but commanding. It is hope, unity, and a warning. We strike when they least expect it, with precision and courage. Not fear, Mara studied the tactical displays. Admiral. Our patrol drones report several unclaimed sectors. Ideal locations for supply depots and hidden bases, Kane smiled faintly. Then we take them, quietly, secretly, and use them to strengthen humanity's reach across the stars. Over months, hidden colonies flourished, new industries formed, new technologies salvaged and improved. Human engineers adapted alien designs, improving engines, weapons, and shields, making each vessel stronger and faster. Small victories came in the form of skirmishes against alien patrols, each engagement teaching humans how to fight smarter, not just harder. Every victory, every repair, every new ship added to the growing strength of the fleet. And finally, the human warships, rebuilt and reinforced, emerged from hiding, engines blazing, weapon systems humming, shields glowing like walls of blue fire. Kane addressed the fleet overcomes, calm and commanding. Today, we show the galaxy that humanity is not broken, not weak, and not defeated. We return stronger, united, and fearless. Crews cheered quietly, pride and determination shining in their eyes, ready to prove to the alien alliance that banishment had only made them stronger. Even as scouts monitored alien systems, noting patrols and weak points, the humans prepared for the moment of their first strike. The hidden fleet, once exiled and scattered, now moved as one, coordinated, disciplined, and ready to take its first step toward reclaiming honor and forging an empire stronger than any alliance had ever imagined. And as the stars stretched endlessly before them, a quiet truth burned in every heart aboard the fleet. Humanity would not only survive, humanity would rise, stronger, smarter, and unstoppable. The human fleet moved like shadows through the outer rim of space, engines humming quietly, shields shimmering faintly. Admiral Kane observed the distant outpost of the alien alliance, massive structures floating above a small planet, weapons ready, defenses primed. They believe we are still weak, scattered, and broken, Kane said quietly, voice calm but sharp. Let us show them how wrong they are. Lieutenant Morris adjusted targeting sensors, scanning enemy patrols. Admiral, they have several cruisers and frigates stationed here. But they are scattered and uncoordinated. Kane nodded. Perfect. That is our opening. We strike with precision and vanish before they can regroup. The first human ships emerged from hyperspace. Sleek frigates darting ahead, cloaked by shadows of asteroids and nebulae. Smaller drones scouted enemy formations, mapping weak points, relaying real-time data to the fleet. Then, like lightning, human fire erupted. Missiles streaking across the void, railguns blazing, and laser turrets cutting through shields and armor. The alien garrison was caught completely off guard. Alarms blaring, crews scrambling, weapons firing wildly but hitting nothing. A human destroyer struck a communications hub, severing coordination across the outpost, sending the enemy into confusion. Captain Voss piloted her cruiser expertly, weaving through incoming fire, returning precise volleys that crippled alien engines. Even the smallest human ships played vital roles, distracting larger vessels, drawing fire, and opening gaps for heavier ships to exploit. The alien commanders shouted orders, panic rising, their confidence shattered by a force they had underestimated. Kane's voice echoed over comms, calm and commanding. Hold the line, strike where it counts, and remember, humans never surrender. Every shot fired, every maneuver executed was calculated. A testament to human ingenuity, training, and discipline. Despite being outnumbered in certain sectors, human coordination and precision caused chaos among the enemy. Lieutenant Maris whispered, awe in her voice, Admiral, we've done what they thought impossible. They are disorganized. Kane's eyes narrowed, focused, and steady. Yes, Maris. And this is only the beginning, a warning to the galaxy that humanity is rising. The strike continued for hours. Carefully targeted, avoiding unnecessary loss of life among civilians and nearby settlements, enemy frigates and cruisers fell one by one, their systems failing under the combined human assault before the aliens could fully react. The human fleet pulled back, engines flaring. Shields protecting every ship, the outpost lay crippled. Alarms still blaring, communications jammed. And the alien commanders knew they had been humiliated. Back aboard the Resolute, Kane addressed his fleet, pride in his voice. Today we struck not just with firepower, but with intelligence and courage. We have shown them the beginning of humanity's return. Across the fleet, crews cheered quietly, hearts racing with excitement and determination. Knowing the first strike had been a success, the Alien Alliance, once confident in humanity's exile, now scrambled, unsure where or when the humans would strike next. And as the stars stretched endlessly around the fleet, the human ships moved silently into the void, victorious, unseen, and ready to continue their rise. Humanity had proven that even in exile, with courage, strategy, and unity, they could challenge the strongest forces in the galaxy. The Alien Alliance had mobilized a massive fleet, confident that the exiled humans could not stand against their might. Thousands of ships moved in formation, engines glowing like molten fire, weapon systems charged and ready to crush any resistance. But humanity had grown stronger, smarter, and more disciplined since exile. Admiral Kane stood on the bridge of the Resolute, eyes scanning the approaching armada, calm and focused. They think they can destroy us, he murmured, voice steady. But they underestimate the human spirit. Lieutenant Maris studied tactical displays. Admiral, their formation is massive, but we know their weaknesses. We can exploit gaps, Kane nodded. Then we strike together. Coordinated, precise, and fearless, humanity will not falter. The Terran fleet surged forward, shields shimmering, engines flaring, a wall of human resolve against the arrogant alliance. Lasers and railguns lit up the void as both fleets clashed, explosions scattering debris and lighting the darkness with fire. The aliens fired in waves, expecting the humans to break. But every human ship moved with precision. Dodging, weaving, and countering, small frigates distracted larger vessels, drawing fire while cruisers targeted weak points, and dreadnoughts delivered crushing volleys of energy and missiles. Captain Voss piloted her cruiser through a hail of fire, skillfully striking enemy engines, shields, and weapon arrays. Even the youngest cadets manned consoles and systems with courage. Their precision and focus contributing to the fleet's success, enemy commanders shouted orders, desperation creeping into their voices as their formations faltered. Confidence replaced by panic, Kane's voice rang out over the comms. Calm and commanding. Hold steady. Strike with intelligence, and remember, humans fight not with fear, but with courage. The battle raged for hours, ships exploding, shields failing, and debris floating through the void, but humanity moved as one. Disciplined, coordinated, and unyielding. Turning every enemy advantage into a vulnerability, Lieutenant Maris whispered, awe in her voice. Admiral, their flagship is exposed. Shields failing, engines down. Kane's eyes narrowed, focused, and sharp. Then we finish this, together, with courage and precision. The fleet converged on the alien flagship. Railguns, lasers, and missiles striking in perfect synchronization. Explosions engulfed the massive vessel, alarms blaring across its decks. Officers shouting in panic as systems failed. Other enemy ships faltered, their formation breaking. Morale collapsing under the relentless human assault. The Terran fleet pressed forward, relentless, unwavering. Their coordination and courage unmatched, finally. The flagship erupted in a massive fireball. Fragments scattering across space, and the alien armada faltered. Shaken to its core, Kane observed calmly. Satisfaction in his eyes, humanity is not defeated. Humanity is unbroken, and today they learn that the spirit of humans cannot be crushed. The surviving alien ships retreated. Broken, disorganized, and fearful, their arrogance shattered by the skill, courage, and strategy of humanity across the void. The Terran fleet remained vigilant, engines humming, shields shimmering, ready for any counterattack. And as the stars stretched endlessly around them, the humans had proven that even against overwhelming odds, they could stand, fight, and triumph. Humanity's rise was no longer a secret, their strength, courage, and unity now a warning to every corner of the galaxy. The battlefield was quiet now, filled with drifting debris, shattered ships, and the faint hum of repaired engines. The Terran war fleet regrouped, shields flickering as repairs were made, engines humming softly across the void. Admiral Kane stood on the bridge of the Resolute, calm and proud, his eyes scanning the remnants of the alien armada. They underestimated us, and now they know the truth, he said quietly, voice steady. Lieutenant Maris checked the tactical display. All ships accounted for, Admiral. Enemy fleet scattered. Command structures destroyed. Minimal Terran losses, Kane nodded, a faint smile on his lips. Humanity has shown today that strength is more than numbers. It is courage, unity, and intelligence. Across the fleet, crews celebrated quietly, sharing relieved smiles, hugs, and cheers. But discipline remained, for every human knew vigilance was as important as victory. Captain Voss approached Kane, pride in her eyes. Admiral, we've won. But the aliens will remember this defeat, won't they? Kane's gaze remained on the stars. Yes, Voss. And the galaxy will remember that humans do not bow, humans do not fear. And humans do not yield. The surviving alien vessels fled, their arrogance shattered, their confidence replaced by caution. Humbled by the unyielding spirit of humanity across the void. Hidden colonies and distant systems watched quietly. Sensing the rise of a new force, an empire stronger than anyone had expected, Kane walked among his crew, observing pilots, engineers, and officers, every face reflecting courage, determination, and pride. Lieutenant Maris whispered, awe in her voice, "Admiral, they will never underestimate humans again." Kane nodded, calm and confident. "No, Maris. And the galaxy has learned a lesson. Never challenge humanity and expect fear or surrender." The stars beyond the fleet shimmered coldly. As if acknowledging the triumph of humans, the Terran warfleet moved steadily forward, leaving the battlefield behind but carrying the legacy of courage, strategy, and unyielding resolve. Reports of the battle would spread across colonies, neutral worlds, and alien systems, telling of a species that rose from exile and refused to bow. The galaxy would remember humanity as fearless, unbroken, and unstoppable, a symbol of hope for all who resisted tyranny. Kane stood silently, reflecting on the victory. Knowing this battle was more than destruction, it was a statement, a promise, and a legacy. "Humans do not fear," he murmured softly. "Eyes on the stars, and no empire, no matter how mighty, can break us." Across the fleet, crews maintained vigilance, shields glowing, engines humming, ready for any new challenge. Humanity had proven itself unshakable, unmatched, and unstoppable. Somewhere across the galaxy, civilizations took note, recording the lesson: do not challenge humanity lightly. In the darkest void, in the fiercest battles, and against overwhelming odds, humans had stood steadfast and victorious. The Terran warfleet continued its journey, stronger, wiser, and proud, carrying the story of courage, unity, and triumph into the stars. And as the distant sun shone coldly across the void, the galaxy learned a truth that would echo for generations: humanity is eternal, fearless, and unstoppable.